Hello, my little elves. Let's work on our Charlie Brown tree lot. At the bottom of your paper, take your pencil and really neatly write your name. Over here on the left side at the bottom, we're going to draw a triangle tree. I don't want it to be huge. Draw a nice triangle tree about this size. Add a trunk. See how my tree is not going taller than Charlie Brown. It's not coming way up here. It's still down near the bottom. Let's draw another tree behind that one. Remember, this is called overlapping. Overlapping is when you have an object and then you're putting something behind it. So we're going to draw another triangle, and all I'm doing is coming up at a diagonal. I'm going to come back down and then draw a line to connect. And I'm going to add a trunk. Over here, since it's kind of blank, let's do another triangle. And add a trunk. Okay. We are going to put some lights in the tree lot for Charlie Brown. So what I need for you to do is over here on the left where we did this first tree, I want you to draw two vertical means up and down, lines. So you're going to do the first one and it's going to come down and it's going to touch your tree, and stop drawing when it touches your tree. Notice that my line went above where Charlie Brown is, okay? So it didn't end here like even with him, it's up taller than Charlie Brown. So you're going to do another line just like that. Don't do them too far apart. This is going to be like the post for our lights. So two skinny little lines. And then close off the top. Okay, from the corner up here, draw a line over, and I kind of let it kind of go down just a little bit. And from this other corner over here, I'm going to draw a line to the edge of the paper. My pencil is really smearing every time I lay my hand on it. If yours is doing that, you can just go back and erase where it has smeared. Okay, we're going to add some lights, and the reason we did it above Charlie Brown's head is because we want the lights above him. So make sure yours went taller. That's why we drew the two lines taller than Charlie Brown, so that this line will be above his head. So all you have to do now is do two little lines and a circle, and those will be our hanging bulbs. And skip a space, and you do the same thing, and you just keep doing that. Two little lines and a circle. Got room for a few little lights over here, so again, two lines and a circle. I've got room for one more, so I'll do that. Okay, so you've got your name, you've got some trees at the bottom. Remember, this is called the foreground. This is when, if you were able to step into the picture, these are the trees that you would come to first. These should be probably the biggest trees that we draw. So then we're going to move to the middle ground. That's kind of where Charlie Brown is. We're going to draw some slightly smaller trees. When we touch something, you stop drawing. So I want you to go above your string of lights And I want you to draw, and if you touch, stop. Pick up again on the other side. And I'm going to stop when I touch Charlie Brown. I'm not going to pick up on the other side because I don't want my tree to be huge, okay? So it's like, looks like Charlie Brown's got a line coming out of his hat. And then I'm going to come down here and make the other side of my tree. And then I'm going to close off and give it a trunk. And yes, it looks like all of my trees are floating right now because we don't have any lines that represent the ground, but we will add those in a minute. So over here, I'm going to draw another tree kind of in front of Charlie Brown. And a trunk. I'm going to do one more over here behind this one. So I'm going to go up, back down. So this tree that I just drew is being overlapped by this tree right here. Remember, overlapping is when one thing is drawn in front of another. So this tree is overlapping that tree so that you don't see all of this tree back here. Okay, so we've got foreground with our bigger trees, middle ground with our slightly smaller trees, and then we're going to have background up here with our really small trees. So up here above these trees, now I'm going to draw a smaller triangle, give it a trunk, do another one. Remember, these look like they're floating right now. I'm going to do another one. This one's going to be a little behind, so it's being overlapped. So that means part of it's being cut off. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do another. I'm going to stop. Okay, so now we've got all these trees and they all still look like they're floating. So what I want you to do is to start over here on the side, and you're going to draw a line, and it needs to kind of move in bumps and wiggles. Doesn't need to be straight. I'm going to go up a little, down a little, and every time I touch a tree I stop. I'm going to pick up again on the other side. So it looks like piles of snow. Okay. So now we have our main ground line back here, but they still look, the trees still look like they're kind of floating. So underneath the tree trunks, I'm just going to draw some little lines coming out, and they're horizontal. That means they just go from side to side. So it looks like they're just piles of snow kind of around the trees. And then I'm also going to do the same thing to Charlie Brown, just a little line coming out from underneath his feet. Okay, so we have foreground, bigger trees, middle ground, slightly smaller trees, background, really small trees, and then we have our snow line or our ground line back here. And now we can add even smaller trees back here. I'm going to add a few. And all I'm doing, I'm not adding trunks to these. It's really like upside down V's. Just adding a few of those here and there. Okay, now this little bitty part that's left is our sky. And I want you, if you want to, you can add a moon, you can add a full moon, just be a circle. You can add a crescent moon, you can add snowflakes, you can do that however you want to. The pictures of the tree lot that we looked at for the Charlie Brown Christmas cartoon was a night sky. I'm going to show you how I'd like to do snowflakes. You can do little circles for snowflakes, but you can also do a plus, and on top of that plus do an X, and then you'll have cute little snowflakes in the sky. Like I said too, if you also want to do just little dots, you can do lots of those. So I want you to spend a little bit of time – adding some things in the sky, whether that's the moon or some snowflakes. You could even do some little clouds if you wanted to. I just like the snowflakes, so I'm just going to add those. Okay, so finish your drawing, and then we will talk about color in the next video.